Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Nicola Valley Talk, a product of the Experience Nicola Valley program. Let me introduce myself. My name is Tania Stewart. I am a environmentalist blogger with Experience Nicola Valley bloggers. I'm broadcasting from my kitchen. Nicola Valley Talk is broadcasted every Thursday on our Experience Nicola Valley Facebook page at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Again, I am your host, Tania Stewart, tonight. And so let us get on with it. Tonight, I am truly and very excited about our guest, Jordan Pinto, who is the president of Merritt Mountain Biking Association, which is located here in Merritt, BC. So let us get the wheel started and welcome Jordan Pinto, president of Merritt Mountain Biking Association, where they make mountain biking happen in the Merritt, BC, and has been existing since the spring of 2000. Is that correct, Jordan?
Yep.
Okay. Well, welcome, Jordan.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm so glad you're here because really I didn't even know you existed, that the biking display existed. And had I probably would have gotten into it. I know my younger son, he wants to. He's turning 15, and I'm sure he's going to go into it. So I want to begin with, can you provide our listeners here in the Nicola Valley and across Canada and the world a snapshot of who is Jordan Pinto and the Merritt Mountain Biking Association?
Well, my name is Jordan Pinto. I'm the president of the Merritt Mountain Biking Association. I grew up in a little town called Mackenzie. It's a familiar mill town, just like Merritt. I lived there for a good 14 years. I moved here in 2004. My parents started working at Aspen Planers, as most of the people here in Merritt. We pretty much moved away from Mackenzie to get away from all the snow. It was pretty much snowmobiling and skiing almost all year round. It was the year we moved had a record snowfall of 16 feet. So it was definitely time to get away from that. Pretty much the MMBA is a group that's passionate about mountain biking, and we want to share it with everyone and anyone that wants to ride bikes with us, whether you're new, advanced, or anything alike. We just want to ride bikes.
Did you always love riding bikes since you were a child, or?
Yeah. My mom always told me that I always had to have wheels underneath me. So, I did quite a bit of riding, but back then there wasn't, especially up north, there wasn't a whole lot for trails. So we pretty much found the biggest curb we could and just jump off of it repeatedly, and then just ride all around town. So, there wasn't a whole lot back then. So
when I grew up here, we used to ride. Well, that was our wheels, right? And that's how we went everywhere. And we actually did go up in the mountains. I live on the bench, and we have the mountains right in the back. That's where we used to ride. Is all through there. There were motorbike trails, so we used those motorbike trails as our trails. So you're not a local boy. You're a transplant, right?
Yeah.
And which is great. You must be. You're definitely a Merrittonian by now. So Jordan, tell us about how did you join the MMBA, and how did you get involved in it?
Well, originally I had a coworker that ended up moving to town and started working with me, and he had a bike, and I asked him about it quite a bit, and I had one that I hadn't really ridden. I hadn't really ridden the trails around here and checked anything out. So he took me out. We went and checked out a very easy green-blue trail. I hadn't pedaled in a long time, so it was pretty terrible at first. It was very hard to breathe for a while. And then I was like, that was actually really fun by the end of it. So we ended up doing quite a bit more rides and stuff like that. And then I found that the bike that I had wasn't actually able to keep up with the way I wanted to keep riding. So I bought a new one from the bike shop here in town. And after about a year of riding, I was like, this is actually like insanely fun. I want to be involved in every aspect of it. So I joined as part of the board of directors back in 2016. Now I'm the president, and I have pretty much two goals. A personal goal is just ride my bike as much as I possibly can. It's just way too fun to not do. And then my goal as president is to help maintain the current trail system we have and help build it to be as sustainable as possible going into the future. By that, we don't need to build more trails. I would like to showcase what we already have, because I've actually, over the last year, I've been able to travel a little bit and see what other places for trails. And just particularly for my style of riding, I just like to go downhill as much as possible and as fast as possible. There hasn't, Merritt has a very, very good network for that, for just steep mountain gnarly riding. So.
Yeah, and definitely you must be a speed and an adrenaline that must, because it is scary, right? Like going.
It can be. It depends, but you kind of get used to it. It's you get used to that. It feels like a lot faster than what you're actually going, depending on what you do. So.
And you must have cameras on you to capture all that.
Yep. Actually, I've been trying to do a lot more of that, and a lot of people have also been wondering about where to find the trails. You can find it on trailforks.com, the website, and I've been posting. I've been making the videos, and you can click on the trail, and you can click right on the actual video itself, and there's my video, so you can see exactly what the trail looks like top to bottom, and you're like, oh, that looks fun. I want to go check that trail out. Because before that, the trails have been around probably since before the MMBA was even inducted back in 2000. So, but there was nothing to show anything, right? And then their cameras came out, like GoPros and stuff like that, to help film, but they were terrible back in 2005. Oh, cameras were absolutely terrible. So now I've actually been learning video editing and some other things so that I can do that, and now I can show what we have, what's already been here forever.
Yes, that is awesome. So you truly enjoy the mountains, and I was wondering, it just popped into my head. Okay, I mean, too many children and too many parents are allowing their children, and they're participating and staying on the couch playing games and getting their action through all these silly little games. And what about beginners? Like, what about how young, or what's the age bracket of getting started on mountain biking?
Pretty much, I guess it would be anytime after not needing training wheels or anything. You can start pretty young, because we do actually have quite a few beginner trails. The only problem with them is that they're a little ways away. Like Kootley Plateau has a really nice, easy FloJo loop that you can do. It's about a 3 to 4 kilometer loop, with the climb being the hard climb is at the very start, so you're fresh for the climb. And then once you're at the top, it's just rolling downhill until you hit the road, and then you can just take the road back to the parking lot. So, and it's pretty much all single track. So it's nothing too terrible. There's no steep grades or anything like that. It's all easily just kind of flat and nice and flowy.
Mm-hmm. What about, because I know this, also I'm thinking as we're going along, what about disabled children? Because I do know there's some autistic children that are on the high spectrum, and they have bikes that are 3-wheelers, like they have the 3 wheels. Is there anywhere for them to do?
Yeah, there is still the Kootley Plateau. So the cow trail up there is actually a big double wide track. So there's quite a bit of room. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot. It's actually something that we have been working on, because there's also a few trails up on the bench, but they're just kind of moto trails, not really marked. So they're kind of hard to go back and forth. But the big one would be definitely the cow trail up on the Kootley Plateau, because it's right through the grasslands. So the same thing, the climb is at the start, and then once you're at the top, it's just rolling flat. So when you're coming back down, it's actually a downhill back to the parking lot. And it's actually wide enough to have a vehicle and everything driven up there too.
Wow. So
worst case scenario, something happens, you can drive a vehicle up there to get to. So
well,
it's actually nice.
Yeah, because you think of, because I'm thinking of one friend that I have who has a son, or actually a grandson, and I mean, he needs her right there. She can walk with him, or she could even pedal with him, or have a vehicle right beside him while he's doing it, because he needs that. That is awesome. What a great thing. and that is so needed, because I do know that children with special needs and disabilities, they come alive in the outdoors, and when they're active, when they have activities that are in the outdoors, like they just shine, like
Oh yeah.
everything comes through. Not to mention just normal children and us lazy couch potato parents. But that is so good to hear. I think that should be just like totally put out there for kids, especially at this time we've all been COVID bound, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. So Jordan, what do you see? I think you did touch on it, but could you just elaborate just a little bit more about moving on? What is your huge vision for moving forward as president of the Merritt Mountain Biking Association?
Well, yeah, like I said, it's just pretty much to help maintain our trail system, make it a little better. We've actually been able to sustain it a lot better this year because of all this rainfall. There hasn't been any fires or anything. So we've actually been working really close with the fire crews and helping build everything up and keep everything maintained and safe so that someone doesn't run into a tree down the trail or anything like that. But yeah, going forward, it's just to make it as sustainable as possible for as many people that want to come and ride, as many locals or visitors or anyone that wants to ride bikes.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, Jordan. So can you tell our listeners what are some of the obstacles and hurdles, like those obstacles and hurdles that that your Merritt Mountain Biking Association has had to face in the last year or in previous years?
Well, definitely the main one is trail maintenance, especially that year that the BC was having huge amounts of fires.
Mm-hmm.
After that, it was no chainsaws and stuff like that in the bush. So there was trees all over the place, and we weren't able to get them out because we weren't allowed chainsaws up in the bush. So whatever we had to get was all by handsaw, and it was all volunteers that came. Yeah, so it was pretty bad. And then same with how Merritt is having flooding problems. When especially one of our trails, especially Goaty Creek, was having major flooding problems too. There was huge creeks running or rivers running down it, and it was washing away bridges and ends and stuff like that. So like there was an entire probably 300-meter section of trail that we had to rebuild up and all the way around because it fell into the river. It was gone. There was about a 10-foot hole. So
oh my.
Yeah, it's definitely trail maintenance is a huge thing. Iron in particular, because it has so many skinny trees up there that the wind just knocks them down. We will consistently clean one spot, and then you go back up there the next day, and there's 2 trees in the exact spot you just cut.
Oh wow!
It's almost daily trees have to be cut out of there. So,
see, because I wouldn't even think of that. I would just think you just get on your bike and just go. And like, I mean, the upkeep is amazing. Do you have a lot of volunteers?
Depends on the year. Some people like to do a lot more traveling, so then all of a sudden they're gone out of town and we don't have anyone. But we have had the same dedicated, probably 10 to 15 people. We also work together. We worked together when Goaty Creek had that big washout. We worked together with the hiking club, and we got up there. We had a big crew of probably about 20 to 30 people, and we just did an entire 4 or 5 hours going down the whole trail, clearing out trees and brush and stuff like that. So.
Wow, that's and a lot of work on that.
Yeah.
So, and which leads me into now that so how did the COVID affect you? I guess it wouldn't have really affected you because it's off season. Did it affect at all?
It had bits and pieces. So like on like the biking industry in general, it was actually kind of a boom. Bike stores all over are out of stock and they can't get stock anymore. Everyone is buying. So it's kind of good and bad because if you have a high density population like Vancouver, I guess like there was the trails up there, they were having lineups of people from the bottom of the trail up. So that's not really COVID-19 positive because you'd have so many people, right? It doesn't work. Whereas here we had quite a few people buy bikes and stuff like that and get out, but we're such a low density population that it it was just a benefit. We had more people, but we were still able to maintain the proper social distancing. So it was kind of a neutral thing, at least here.
Okay. So, and now that you guys you open the doors to the outdoors now, so when you do have trails and or bike groups, there is the social distancing that's going on, right?
Yeah.
You're taking the precautions.
Oh, yeah.
Can you
For
tell
sure.
the audience exactly how you're doing that?
So normally we would actually provide a shuttle to the trailhead. We would all meet at the local bike shop, and we would all pile in the vehicle and head up to the trail together. This year we're not doing any of that. You have to provide your own ride to get up to the trailhead, and then of course as you're riding, you're not really riding right beside each other. You usually have big gaps anyway, just from people that want to go slower or people that want to go faster. So that kind of tends to work itself out a little bit. But the big thing would be we don't provide the shuttle anymore to the trailhead, which is unfortunate because a lot of our green trails and everything like our beginner group rides were the biggest ones, and we were able to provide them the ride out to the trailhead because all of our green trails are farther away, which we can't do anymore. So there has been a little bit of less people showing up because they just can't make it.
Which I think is actually not too bad. I could see the camaraderie if you had a shuttle bus, right? Because then you get all like, ooh,
yeah.
Yeah, the wheels on the bus, that kind of stuff, right? And then you get the, I'm going to do this, and But now it's like but it's safety of it's the safety of the people, right? And it's their comfort
for sure.
level. Yeah, and it's too bad because I totally think the transit or the bus thing would be great. But due to the COVID, it has to be that safety. But that's great to know that you have those safety protocols in there. Also, I would like to know, is it a club?
Yeah.
Okay, can you explain about how does one join this biking club?
So you can actually purchase a membership online through our Facebook page. You can get $20 for a single membership and $35 for a family. It helps cover you with insurance on the trails, helps support our local trails and everything like that. And just it helps support us in general because the more people we have, then the more we can say that when we apply for grants or anything like that, like look how many people. And then this is how many locals, not including visitors, that just want to help support us and go through everything. Or you can also buy a membership through the local bike shop, Breathe Bikes.
I actually did read in, I think it was a newspaper or the Merritt Morning Market. You're just beginning new trail or beginners classes or something. Can you explain about that?
Every Wednesday at 6 p.m. We usually do the FloJo Loop because it's the most popular and it's the easiest to get to for people because it's closest out of town. But we meet at 6 p.m. at the trailhead and we just do a pedal lap around up the cow trail up to FloJo. And then we just take FloJo down to the road. So yeah, super easy, 3 or 4 kilometer loop. And everyone always enjoys it because the climb is at the very start, so you get to enjoy the ride down. It's easily 15-20 minute climb, and then you have a 15-minute descent depending on how fast you want to go.
I think that's the one I would like to start with.
We're working on a new green trail. I have applied to the city for a letter of support to go up on bench, so we can have a good 3 to 4 kilometer loop up on bench. Because what would be nice is the people that say the kids or the people that can't drive out to the trailhead, there's something accessible in town so that they can easily do. So we've actually mapped out a 1.2 kilometer green trail coming down from the Tom Lacey Memorial Trail to come down to bench. So we're working with the city to figure something out, and then we're just kind of going through the stepping stones process right now to get it all figured out.
That sounds awesome. I look at the bike park because I have a clear view of it from my kitchen, and I see how many children are down there. And during COVID, it was horrible, and I can hear the kids, right, and yelling and and all that, and you can hear that. And I kind of missed it, but now I'm starting to see it, and that leads me to the other, not the cement bike up and down and all around one, but the other one that's behind the police station. I do know that you guys had a lot to do with that. And can you explain to the audience about that?
Yeah. So the original bike park, I didn't really have a whole lot with. I wasn't part of it, and I wasn't really riding a lot at the time. But I was part of the revamp. We worked with some locals, Luke Beers and Ryan Luker. They have been riding for a long time, and have actually helped build a lot of the trails around Merritt and helped maintain them to this day. But it was definitely in need of a revamp because a lot of the wooden features were starting to rot, and it was starting to become unsafe for people to ride on, for kids. And then also, as another problem too, bikes kind of started evolving more in geometry and just like wheel size, everything like that. So what was happening was the kids would take the jump and they would go a lot farther than they normally would, just because their bike was a lot newer and just totally different specs wise and stuff. So the whole bike park had to be revamped, just in general. So now it's now what it is now. It's actually really good, and it makes it a lot more sustainable going into the future because there's a lot less wood features. So it'll be safer for longer.
Oh, that is good. Definitely. Can you? Because I've watched some of those kids going off them, and they're going pretty high. Like it's
yeah.
Oh, what an awesome thing to have though for children and young teens and stuff like that, and right behind the pop shop too, so they can keep an eye on them, and then they won't be doing nothing bad behind the police station, right?
That's for sure.
So can you tell, because this is going to go out and people, it's going to reach far and wide, and we have a lot of viewers in the UK, which they can't come over right now, and then we have a lot of Australian people that just love Canada, and they can't wait to come here. So tell us what's the best thing about biking and doing all this in our beautiful Nicola Valley mountains and some of our plains. I guess we have grass plains and stuff like that.
Oh,
if you
definitely the diversity of trails. So we actually have 4 different distinct riding areas. Definitely the main one that I think a lot of people use from out of town is going to be Swackham and the old info center. But Swackham it's a nice easy grade throughout the entire thing. So there's a big 16-kilometer loop that you can do there that you can go right from flowing grasslands up into the trees. There's even some rock faces up there to ride down. Then all of a sudden you're down along a river, following a river the entire way down, and then climbing back up to the parking lot. So it changes consistently. There's also Swackham, which is up on the bench, which has a lot of hikers use. So it's a big multi-use trails. The Tom Lacey Memorial is probably the most popular trail for hiking, for multi-use anyway, for hiking and stuff like that, because it's just easily accessible from town. It's right there. Lumbum is just rolling grasslands everywhere. Unfortunately, this year it was because of it was part of provincial campgrounds and stuff. So there was problems up there. It didn't see a whole lot of use. And then with all this rain that it's had this year, it's just turned the entire place into a big mud field everywhere. So it's going to take quite a bit for it to dry out. But my personal favorite riding area is Iron Mountain. It's
is that the one that's going down all the time?
Oh yeah, straight down. So I didn't really look into the specs of it until lately, but the mountain itself is a 1,000 meter or 3,200 feet in descending. And then like in comparison, Sun Peaks Bike Park is 2,000 feet. So this mountain is right out our front door. It's a 15-20 minute drive to the top, and you have 3 different routes that you can go down that we currently maintain. They're all on trail forks, but by far the easiest one to go down is going to be through the old 98 trail into Burns and into Godey, and it's 8.6 kilometers over 3,200 feet. So it's pretty good.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's the only problem with Iron is there's not a whole lot you can do to build a blue trail, just because the mountain itself is just so steep in general everywhere. There's and it's all rock faces. It's all technical stuff up near the top. So it's just
a little more of an expert.
Yeah. There's no blue trails on that mountain. There's all black trails. Like if you take like the fastest route down is a 6-kilometer descent. So over 6 kilometers, you drop 3,200 feet.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. It's
Wow. But that sounds amazing, though. Like, wow, that's just, it makes me want to do it, but I know I have to do with the little baby one first thing. So is there anything else, Jordan, before I let you go, that you would like to share with us that I didn't ask you or touch on?
just pretty much if you want to come ride bikes, just we're all for it. Anyone and everyone, doesn't matter who you are, if you're a beginner, advanced, expert, just come check out our trails, come and ride. We'll be glad to host you and show you around. It'll be a great time. It's always fun riding bikes.
And once it's like you never forget how to ride, right? Once you've
No,
learned it.
that's for sure. When your first time going down a mountain, you forget how, but
Yeah, that would be me. Oh, well, great. Thank you so much, Jordan. It was a pleasure to have you here, and you totally informed me a lot about it. Like I said, I didn't even have a clue that this existed, and I'm gonna share this with everybody, and I'm going to, yeah, put it on all social medias as much as possible because I think this is such a great thing. And like I said, I think my 14 turning 15-year-old child is going to get involved. So
it's good to
I would
hear.
like to thank you again, Jordan Pinto, for the Merritt Mountain Biking Association, for coming here and being my guest on the Nicola Valley Talk Show.
Thanks for
Okay.
having me.
Thank you, Jordan. And I will talk to you in a bit. Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you. There you had it. There you have it right there is our Jordan Pinto from the Merritt Mountain Biking Association here in the Nicola Valley. Like for everybody, like he said, it's for all, well, almost all ages, and for beginners and for experts, for medium pros and wannabe pros, and people who think they're pros, and how many trails that there are out there. So get your bikes cleaned off, get the tires blown up, and get going and get fit again after this COVID-19. They're being stuck in the home, and enjoy the outdoors because I mean, so beautiful. And it's right outside our back door, and enjoy it. So again, welcome to the Nicola Valley Talk Show, and which is broadcasted here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And we are a product of Experience Nicola Valley program, and which is aired every Thursday at 7 p.m. on the Nicola Valley Facebook page at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Again, I am your host, Tania Stewart, and let me remind you about recycling, reuse, repurpose, and rethink what you really need to buy to keep our landfills less full. Okay, thank you, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you. Bye.